So, wanted to share with you guys at this moment, since we're talking about monthly review, we're talking about SOGA analysis, etc. So, I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about how did our review process look like. So, our review process necessarily looked like the following. There was a pre-review process. There was the review itself. And there was a post-review follow-up. The cool thing that is easily implementable whenever you have a monthly review or whenever you have a quarter review is to make sure that you take out all the additional reporting points and all that bulk of what usually wastes people time when you're not really talking about progress, but you're just talking about what has been and what has been done, to try to shove that up as much as possible in the pre-review. Meaning, what happened in this format is that the reporting slides were shared in the format of Google Slides. Before the review by an adequate amount of time, so it was around 7 to 8 days, where people get the opportunity to fill in their slides that creates the detailed report of what they have created. So if you check later down in the newsletter, you go to the folder of the review, you're gonna find a 150 slide document that is the report. What happens is that these are not the slides that you use on the review day itself. These are the slides that you give to people as homework to read through. Then what happens is that we try to capture people's key questions. People's key questions related to other people's areas or people's questions related to other people's projects. And we capture that in the form of a spreadsheet. Similar to the spreadsheet that you're gonna find that I shared with you guys for you guys to ask us questions post to the review that happened a couple of days ago. In this sheet in itself, there were 3 key categories that you fill in. You have questions, you have way forward, or a way to improve that you can add for people, or recognition and appreciation to make sure that you're capable of maintaining that positive, optimistic hope and spirit within your team. And that was done necessarily for every team member. And within that sheet, every team member was responsible to go to their own question cells and start answering them there. That saved us up in the review itself what is almost equivalent to around between 4 to 5 hours, where people usually just sit on their asses and just listen to other people speaking about how awesome they've been and how fantastic they are. But what was reported during the review itself was progress. So as much as we retrospected, so we had a small grounding slide deck that is necessarily 10 slides that sum up all the data that we need to pay attention to, was progress, which is the answer for these questions, which is how am I gonna take my area forward in this upcoming month? What is the kind of support / synergy that I need in order for me to be able to make that happen? So you find more expanded spaces during the review itself for collective conversations. Conversations that are in a project team, conversations in a sub-team, or conversations related to key areas or corners that need to be working together. And another very heavy thing then that you can be using the review for is to make sure that the team is capable to regroup and have those moments where they recognize, organize, or you push forward a certain theme. Even during the day itself, when it comes to certain things that we wanted to review about our team practice or when it comes to our conduct, etc., although you host the exercises themselves in the review, but you try to use post-review touch points to communicate outcomes and to anchor certain messages. So what happened is that we had 2 spaces that were related to reviewing the team code and to review the team practice, and we created small working groups that worked on it for 5 days post the review, and they came and presented at the first weekly meeting after the review itself. So people can feel a sense of consistency and continuity in a review process. So rather than it being just one bulky day that is super boring, it would rather be a process that is enjoyable and people feel the collective efficiency and effectiveness of its output on their day-to-day work. Cheers. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.